I have seen so many people dive into building an online course, and they are quite resource heavy. It takes you quite a while to build said course and create it. So if you haven't kind of considered what you're going to create, you end up creating something that is boring or just sits on a shelf, doesn't get sold, people don't really want it, and you've spent all of this time creating this fabulous, wonderful content that nobody really sees or gets help from. So I don't want you to do that. So in this video today, I'm going to talk about the things to consider before you decide that you're going to build an online course. And I'm going to share with you my process that I used for years. So previous to being a therapist, I was a learning and development consultant for over 10 years. I worked in corporate multinational companies, creating training and development and all sorts of e-learning and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to share with you in this video the process that we went through before we created any kind of resource or content or training. And I'm hoping that by sharing that with you, then you can implement that process into your own business to ensure that you've considered these things before you decide that you're going to create an online course. Why should you care? Why should you bother? Well, it saves you a lot of time. So you don't end up spending hours and hours and hours creating courses that people don't want. It will also help you to make them more interesting, more creative, something that excites you and excites the audience, rather than this whole bungle your knowledge into one course kind of stuff, which I see so much of. And it will also make sure that the course that you create is actually useful to the people who are consuming it. It's delivered in a way that is answering the issue or the problem in a way that they want to engage with it. And that will increase the likelihood that you will actually make money from your creations. So let's get into it. Let's get started. The first thing that we do is we do a training needs analysis. So in the corporate company that I worked with, there was a request. So somebody would say, we want training on this. And the first thing that we would do is we would do a training needs analysis, which is we go and we ask questions. We start saying, what is it that the challenge is? What is it that they can't do? What is it that's stopping them from doing whatever it is that you want them to do? Asking questions. What have they trained in before? What content solutions have they already consumed? What have they already have? Why didn't they work? The reason for this is because so many times we'd come away from our analysis and realize that the training need was actually different. The thing that the people needed and wanted was different from the original request. And if we had gone ahead and delivered what was originally requested, it wouldn't have worked and it wouldn't have been effective, because that's not actually what the problem was. And this is so much true in our businesses. You don't know what it is that people are actually struggling with until you ask them. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to do some analysis. You need to look at what's already available. What is it that people are struggling with? What is it that's stopping them and preventing them from taking whatever step it is? What is it that that would be their kind of biggest issue or their biggest solution? All of these kinds of questions can help you to identify what the actual need is and what is it that they're actually really struggling with. And often we were quite surprised that the answer to that was different from the answer that we thought it was originally. So do some good analysis. Then we would take that analysis and we would go back and we would at that point start thinking, okay, what kinds of solutions are we going to create? And this bit, we would stay in creative mode. So your brain has two different sides to it. It has a real logic, sensible, structured side, and it has a real playful, creative, imaginative side. And very often people go straight into that logical element when they're building a solution or a course or product or whatever it is. They go straight into, okay, well, I need an introduction, and then I need this bit, and then I need that bit, and they go straight into logical, they go straight into structure. You have jumped a whole section of the process, which is allowing space for creativity, for imagination, for your ideas. Sometimes within the corporate world, we would get a few colleagues together, get into a meeting room and be like, okay, this is the thing somebody's struggling with. And we would literally just bang loads and loads and loads of ideas, start getting that creative juices flowing. We were using colored pens, we were using kind of flip chart, post-it notes, really enhancing that part of your brain that is lovely and creative to come up with loads and loads and loads of different ideas and different ways of doing things. And then after that, we would narrow those down to the best ideas or the best structure or something that really got us interested and excited about what we were going to do. The result of that process meant that we kept coming up with interesting, intriguing, exciting ways to get the idea and the learning across to people. Every single thing that we did had a different flair, a different flavor, a different idea, a different approach, a different voice. And that means that the engagement is going to be so much higher. So make sure that after you've done your analysis, you don't go straight into structure. You stay in creative, imaginative, play with the idea, get loads and loads of colors and all sorts of things involved, and then start whittling it down. The next part is then, okay, so what do I need in order to create that solution? So we started looking at, what kind of technology do you need? Do you already have that technology? Is there something completely new and you might need something else? Flash that out. What kind of, do you need loads of videos? Do you need, do you need Word documents? Do you have the ability to create these things? And do you have the technology that can support and deliver that? Or is that something that you're going to have to find and create? And only then do we then go into what is the structure going to be. So I'm going to start off with module 1. I'm going to start off with this particular video. I'm going to make sure that this is in module 1, that's in module 2, whatever it is. And that process allows you to make sure that what you are creating fits your audience and is exactly what they need. You might find out that they want and would really benefit from 6 bite-sized pieces rather than everything being together in one solution, for example. So you know that it fits your audience, you know that it's really exciting, intriguing, creative, fun, all these kinds of things, got the right flavor to it that you want. And you know then what technology that you need. So many people ask me about things like pricing and things like marketing and all of these kinds of things. And I say, what have you considered before we've got to this point? And the answer is usually, well, I've just had this idea. Please don't do that. It leads to very boring content. It leads to content that sits on the shelf and doesn't get used or seen. And it ends up with you spending a hell of a lot of time creating a lot of stuff that you really didn't need to create. So training needs analysis. Do some analysis first. Stay in the creative. Allow that, encourage and allow your imagination, your creativity. If you don't have those elements within you, some people are just not that way inclined. Get some people together who are, and then work out, what do I need to make this happen? What do I have already? And then you can get into what's the structure of this and how it's going to look. I hope that's helped, sharing with you a little bit of the process that I've used for many years, over 10 years with corporate training, and I've used it ever since in terms of building my own online pieces. So yes, I can absolutely vouch that it works. So take that away, have a look at what you're doing currently and implement that process. And those are the fantastic things to consider to make sure that you are building a fantastic online course.